Hello to another Thursday night. And we have Julie in the hot seat, as they were saying earlier. I want to learn about Julie. I didn't get a chance to meet her last week or the week before, so I'm going to shut up and let her take over. Julie, go.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Julie Kooser. I originally am from Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which is not far from Pittsburgh. I moved to Pittsburgh when I went to college at Point Park. So that's how this whole project got started. Was there for 4 years, and then I moved to Chicago 2 years ago, and been working in commercial ever since.
You can expand on that later if Elliot shows up. But I found Julie through a Instagram post from what area? The Midwest?
Yeah, Chicago Midwest.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, okay, Chicago Midwest. Somebody's out there showing a lot of pictures. It has 700 photos of Century 3 Mall. And she posted, does anybody want to see them? So I reached out to her, as long as she doesn't show all 700.
Oh, sir, I didn't say they were all good. I just said I had 700.
But again, the show is yours, Julie.
All right. Let me figure out how to do this. Okay, can everyone see my presentation?
Yeah.
Hooray. Okay, so this project actually started for my digital photo editing class. I studied the different malls in the area, trying to figure out why they were dying. At first, I had assumed that they were all dying, but turns out it's only a handful of them, like Century 3 and Pittsburgh Mills. I was so close to Century 3 that I just kept going with it. I've been photographing it now for about 4 years on and off, which has been difficult being 500 miles away, but I try to make a trip every 6 months or so. Yeah, so I found, like I said, that many of them are still thriving, but some are dying. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there are external shopping malls right outside. Like if you've ever been to Century 3, I'm sure you know that there are several plazas right outside. And I'm confident that's a big reason why it's dying, but also I've been told by a lot of the shop owners that the rent just kept going up and up and up. The owners, if you're unfamiliar, live in California, so I'm sure they had no idea about real estate prices in Pittsburgh, and they just kept raising the rent to match. So this is not Century 3, this is Pittsburgh Mills, like I was saying. My first year at college, I saw that all these malls were still thriving. But after about 2 years or so, Sears closed, Macy's closed, and they closed off the third floors, couldn't access them. At the start of this project, the entire third floor was closed, couldn't get up there. Many people stopped me. This is a picture of the abandoned food court. I have never seen this food court busy. Most, if not all, of the stores by this point in the food court were closed. I think there was one chicken place, and I don't even remember the name of it. But it's been this dead since I moved. So the image on the left is from April of 2017. It is where the fifth anchor store was next to Sears. You can see that there was a fake wall that they put there. But by May of 2018, the image on the right, you can see that they opened it up. I was told that they were renovating because the ceiling was leaking. And I couldn't get past where I was standing to get any closer for a shot. So unfortunately, this is what we can see. But there's lots of damage. Oh, no. But there's lots of damage back there. You can see the exit sign is falling, and they've got a bunch of different dumpsters and stuff. So not looking pretty. This is the hallway next to Sears. very abandoned. Can't access any of this anymore. At this time, this is May of 2018.
How were you able to get there?
In that area?
Yeah.
Well, that part was still open. Where I was standing was still open, yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get any closer. At that point, they still had security guards, so I couldn't sneak in. They were watching me like a hawk, you know. You walk in with a camera, everyone immediately eyes on you. This is what the area looked like in December of 2018. This is the same hallway. Straight back where all of those like PVC curtains are is where that open gate was to the fifth anchor store was. It is completely blocked off at this point. I can't get any closer than this. I was probably 40 feet closer the last time I shot this. So it is dirty. Birds are living in the food court at this point. The ceiling is falling, water damage everywhere.
So are there still some stores that are open at the one end of the mall then, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm in Cleveland, so I'm not familiar with the mall. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I probably
No worries at all. Yeah.
So Century 3 was one of the largest shopping malls when it first opened in 1979. 3 stories, tons of stores. I think it's something like 12,000 square feet or so. I don't listen to me. I don't know. It's huge. But by that point, by 2018, there were only a handful of stores left. If I remember correctly, it was something like 7 or 8.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was in Cleveland, Ohio, on the east side of Cleveland, we had a store. It was called Randall Park Mall. And at the time, it was the largest mall in the world, or at least in the US, before Mall of America. That was in the 70s as well. And they finally closed it up, and it was abandoned for a long time. And then it was finally leveled, and then now Amazon has a distribution center, which is kind of an ironic thing to happen, right?
Yeah.
Totally.
How weird is that?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sort of symbolic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The thing that put it out of business.
True.
Yep.
So this was the carousel that was right outside of Dick's. I'm not sure I've ever seen anybody actually on this carousel in the 4 years that I was there. But they kept it on. There was somebody who stood outside waiting for kids to ride. At this point, there were still tons of stores. This was April of 2017. So we're at the beginning of the real decline here. And this is where the carousel was by May of 2018. So this is 13 months later. They had taken the carousel out and completely blocked off that area. I'm not sure why that area was blocked off. Caution tape is around there, but there was no damage. There was nothing electrical. I have no idea. You can still see that there are a couple stores over to the side there, like Verizon Wireless and Bath and Body Works. And there were a couple more down that hallway too, but most of them behind camera were closed at this point besides JCPenney's. And that's just a close-up of the empty hole where the carousel was.
Neat light.
Okay. Did you do a black and white of this?
I was just going to ask.
I did, but I didn't like it as much. I probably could play with it a little more, but
that's what drew me in to your Instagram. So it works both ways.
Okay, all right. Stick to the black and white. Got it. And this is the tower, I guess, where it shows all the different anchor stores. None of those stores are open at this point except for Dick's. You can see that there is some damage on the ceiling there, and the stores behind it are all closed. On the second floor are also closed. And here's where we see the visible damage. Now, there are tons more down that hallway that I first showed you with the fifth department store, where the ceiling is just completely collapsed. But this, the image on the left is the second floor right outside the main entrance. You can see it's missing some panels in the ceiling there, as well as a gaping hole. You cannot access that area. It's all roped off for obvious reasons. The second photo is of the food court. Completely water damage from the side there. You can see there's even some damage leaking down the balcony there. Tons of birds living over there too.
Julie, did you ever approach the management for permission to shoot?
I did not.
Well, that's okay. You
what
sometimes you can have kind of amazing cooperation if you can state your case well.
Right.
But I just wondered whether they had okayed it or not.
That's a good question. I did start this project when I was in college and very green to the whole business. If I could go back and do things differently, I would interview the different shop owners and management and get in closer, even if it wasn't necessarily allowed. But that was just not something that I had thought of at that time. I was still very young in this profession.
Who owns them all?
Julie,
Yes.
you know what amazes me is how quickly the building deteriorated.
Yeah.
Oh, incredibly. All of these photos that I'm showing you are over 4 years. It went
I
from a
think that's
bustling mall to a condemned building in 4 years.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yes. I believe, Polly, that was your question about who owns the mall.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name, Star something, I believe, but they're out in California. They did not maintenance the building very well, clearly. And they just kept raising the rent, even though they weren't taking care of the building. So it was just a bad situation for everyone involved.
A slumlord.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Most of the second floor was inaccessible. This is December of 2018. They had blocked off all of or just this elevator, I should say. All the escalators were shut down. You can't access the second floor by this point. All of the stores up there are closed, obviously, and much of that was roped off from damage to the ceiling. Oh yeah, so also by this point, there were very little security. Skateboarders have taken over. I photographed this skateboarder and his friends. There were probably 6 or 7 of them. For 45 minutes, nobody showed up. They own the mall now.
And the birds.
And the birds, yes. Skateboarders and the birds now own the mall.
No mall walkers. No.
No. I mean, well, there were a bunch of people walking through the mall just as exercise because it was December, pretty cold, but no patrons really. This was also December. This was the massage parlor on the first floor, right as you walked into the main entrance. They had a big PVC sheet, as you can see there, to hold in all of the heat because I believe the heat was on, but it wasn't very warm inside the building. And this was their effort to get patrons in, but I don't think that's very inviting.
Yeah, that was going to be my question about the heat in the wintertime.
Yeah.
If they're trying to not maintain it.
Oh yeah, not at all. Not at all. There, like I said, there was very minimal heat. I still had to have my coat on.
That's actually part of the reason why buildings deteriorate so quickly. When they're unheated, bad things happen. If you see old dilapidated homes, once the water penetrates the roof and there's no heat, they fall apart pretty quickly.
Do you know why that is?
I don't know really the technical reasons, but it's been my observation that usually once a roof is breached and there's water in the building, water is an enemy to any building, any structure. So that's why you try to keep it out,
Right.
Freeze and fall like a bridge and road.
Disintegrate.
Yeah, pretty much, I think.
That's fair. One thing I did happen to notice was that they had a bunch of different soda machines and snack machines, but all of them were turned off, but they still left the claw machine on, which doesn't make any sense to me. This is a reflection from behind the escalator, because the escalator, if any of you have been there, is mirrored on all sides. And this is the
Maybe they wanted to collect money on the claw machine and they wanted to get rid of the merchandise, you know, when
I
people
guess
went through,
that's
like the
fair.
skateboarders.
That's fair. One of the things about Century 3 Mall, if you've never been there, is it has a humongous parking lot, which I'll show you later, which also includes this parking garage. It's several levels, but you can't access most of it. The parking garage itself is completely blocked off. The stairs to access the levels are completely blocked off. The road to access it is completely blocked off. The only areas you can really park in at this point, which was December 2018, is the external open air parking lot outside of JCPenney's.
But you could get a drone in there.
That would be pretty awesome. I don't have a license, so if anybody has a license and wants to go, call me. So this is the abandoned parking garage again. Just really like the light through here. They also closed off a lot of the secondary entrances, as I'm sure you can guess. By this point, there were only 2 or 3 different entrances that you could access through, and all of the others had some type of gate in front of it. December of 2018. All right, March 2019, Dick's closed their doors. They were forced out of their lease. You are completely unable to access the inside of the mall by this point, except for JCPenney's. They own their part of the building, if you're unfamiliar, and they are external because they're an anchor store, so easy access to them, but you cannot reach the rest of the building.
What was the logic in forcing Dick's out?
They condemned the building.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I guess they had gone to court in the middle of March of 2019, and by the end of March, they had closed their doors. Like the other shops in Century 3, Dick's had left a note on the door and blocked the window so you can't see inside.
Now, was it the city that actually had it condemned then?
Yes.
Is that what? Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Old Mexico, which I don't think had been open since 2017 or 2018. I just love where the sign used to be, practically dripping off of the building at this point. And this is the main entrance, entry A. It's completely empty, and they took the doorknobs off. You cannot get into the doors at all. Probably because of people like me, but
That would make a great black and white as well.
okay. All right, noted. This is a panorama of the whole building I shot from Gabe's parking lot at the top of the mountain there. One car on the side. Oh my God, that road is completely dilapidated at this point. I don't know if any of you drive over that way, but don't. Save your brakes, save your shocks.
It kind of looks Pentagonish with the shape
Yeah,
from
you're
this
right.
vantage point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So all of that is underground parking? It appears to be raised?
Yeah. It's the start of the parking garage. Over to the left, you can't see, there is a road that trails down into the parking garage there. But that's also completely blocked off as well. So.
You know that that mall was built on slag.
I did know that. I don't
know, but I was made sense to John because he's from Cleveland.
Yeah, that's true.
That was a slag dump when I was a kid. We used to go out there and watch them dump slag up there. It was the thing to do.
Wow. Yeah, thanks for the input.
They created a mountain out of a valley.
Wow.
I believe they still have one of those machines on the side of the hill there too, don't they? If you're driving up this road here and you make a left towards Walmart, I believe they still have one of those mixer
they
type
take
things.
those rail cars would haul the slag up there from the mill and dump it. And the sky would just glow all evening because of the heat coming off the slag.
That's crazy.
It was pretty amazing to watch. But now the mall's gone and the mills are gone.
Yep. All right, so if you remember a few images ago, that was entry A at the beginning of 2019. And at the end of 2019, they completely boarded off all the doors. Forget the doorknobs. Now there's wood. Don't even try to get in the doors. Lots of no trespassing signs, keep out signs. And on several of the doors, you'll see condemnation signs from the city.
I love that signage that was there too, that showed the JCPenney. That almost looked like a street light on the previous slide. That's really cool. This, yeah, off to the left.
Yeah.
They have a ton of
George.
those.
So Jetsons like.
Yeah, it really is.
And the shadow.
Those of us old enough to know what the Jetsons are.
I know what the Jetsons are. I watched, I promise. And this is just a wide shot of the building, same day. Completely desolate parking lot. JCPenney's is still open at this point. I believe JCPenney's is closed now. Is that correct? I haven't been there since.
It's bankrupt. They
Okay.
filed for bankruptcy.
Okay.
I don't know if the store's still open.
I heard someone was buying pennies. Is that not true?
I don't know.
No, no.
I heard that just recently that somebody was they were in negotiation to be bought out of bankruptcy
Well, I hope that's true.
by someone. I don't know.
The one comment I wanted to make about bankruptcy is, I'm not sure if you guys remember when Kmart filed for bankruptcy, and then they ended up buying Sears, and then they dragged Sears into bankruptcy. So just because you've gone bankrupt doesn't mean you can't survive and screw other businesses over and make them go.
Yeah, really.
Well,
All right. And this is a panorama of the back parking lot, the garage. You can see that nature's taking over at this point. Yeah.
is this now?
This is December 2019.
Look at that parking lot. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And that's it. I wish I had done a lot of different things. I was just so green, like I said, to the business, but hopefully my latest photos don't look like complete trash.
No.
Oh,
It's a wonderful
good.
contrast to your portraits and the photojournalism. It's definitely, you got two sides to you for sure.
Well, thank you.
Julie, that's an important tale to tell. It's not a happy tale, but
No.
it's a great thing to have just for archives. And
Well, it's good it's good that it's documented for sure. No question.
I never had any intention of showing these images to anybody before. I was just kind of collecting them for myself. So I'm glad that other Pittsburghers and some people from Cleveland get to see the dilapidation of this poor mall.
did you get the impression that the mall deteriorated physically and then people stopped shopping there? Or was it people stopped shopping and they just let the mall go?
I believe it was the latter. When I first moved there, it was 2014. I had gone during Black Friday and it was so busy. They had 4 anchor stores at that point. We had walked past so many people. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
The only thing that was closed off at that point was the fifth anchor store, like I was saying, with that blocked off hallway. But other than that, it looked like every other mall. But when I started this project at the end of 2016, things started going downhill pretty quickly. And then the ceiling started to give in and they started blocking things off. So.
Wow.
Mhm.
When's your next visit back to the city? I would love to see that angle now or a year from whenever that one was took. I
will probably be down there at the end of this year. So it will be about a year Difference? I'm sure the weeds are twice as high at this point.
And the cracks and everything. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, totally.
There'll be trees.
You know
so
what?
you when you were here for the protest downtown and the burning police car, you didn't get a chance to revisit Century 3?
No, because that was at the beginning. Well, not at the beginning, but it was rather early into the pandemic, and I was very, very paranoid. Very paranoid. The fact that I had even gone to the protest to begin with is a shocker. I didn't go anywhere except to take care of my mom. So.
Gotcha. Now, I'm jealous of anybody that got the burning vehicle photo. I showed up late and just got tear gassed.
Oof. I did not get tear gassed. I did not get tear gassed.
You're very lucky.
Yeah.
Julie, do you think you can pull up any of the other pictures that Archie was talking about? Your portraits? I know it's hard when you're not prepared for that.
Sure. Is it okay if I just pull up my website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be
I
great.
suggest.
Okay.
Are you an independent photographer, or do you work for anybody?
I actually don't work as a photographer. I work as a photo assistant in Digitech for Ulta Beauty's corporate office.
Okay.
So I do a lot of commercial assisting and the technical end before it gets to retouching.
That sounds like it's pretty awesome.
It's the best. I love everybody that I work with. The digiteching isn't exactly my favorite, but it's necessary, and hopefully that will lead me to a road of retouching as a full-time profession.
So I'm not familiar. What is digiteching?
So it depends on the context. It pretty much it's the person who deals with the technical end of photography. So they're the one who sets up camera and capture one, for example, before the photographer gets to set. They end up keywording everything, sending it to the retoucher, managing files. The not so fun bit, but necessary.
Yeah, sounds valuable.
And is pretty much everything you do in studio, or do they do stuff outside too?
We work primarily in studio on the product. We have shot on location for the different architecture, but all of our model shots are done in California where it's always warm. So
Smart.
I would love to do the model shots, but I don't live in California. So I'm at a point in my life where I don't know what I want to do. My passion is in photojournalism and documentary, but as I'm sure Archie can tell you, there are practically no jobs left in that. So in order to make money, I have been experimenting with different types of commercial photography and just trying to figure out where I can make some money while I work on documentary and photojournalism as like a side passion project. In that, I've been studying different food photography. I love to cook. I love to bake, all of that. So it makes for easy subjects. Plus they don't move. So.
And you get to eat it later.
Exactly. Not all of it tastes good. These cookies taste like trash, but they look good. So. Let me pull that up.
Julie, are you an ASMP member?
Yes, sir.
And do you have your membership card? Like one of the laminated ones you can wear around your neck.
I do not.
That wouldn't be a good thing to do, because you can actually show up at a lot of places for documentary work or documenting visitors, etc. With that card around your neck.
Good to know. I will need somebody to take a headshot of me because mine are extremely dated, but.
Well, if you're interested in that sort of work, you might be able to pursue it sort of on the side until you got your feet wet,
That's true.
And, that may help.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So you've seen enough of my food stuff, I promise. Okay, so Spectrum is my thesis. It is my photographic baby at the moment, my pride and joy. As somebody who grew up in the mountains, transgender was not a word in my vocabulary until I moved to the city. So I had, along the way through college, met so many different people who were experimenting with gender and had given me different gender identities to which to call them. So I did a project based on their different appearances and throughout their life, how this has evolved into who they are now. I took the main portrait, and on the side there you can see some childhood photos, which just shows the progression of them aging, but also how they came to be who they are. Frankie, for example, I went to college with Frankie, and the second image in their set is them drawing on themselves as a small child, and now they're a tattoo artist. So very indicative. I've been very thankful to have shown this twice, one at my senior thesis show, and then once when I moved to Chicago. Pretty good turnout to both. So very excited about that.
Is that the way you display it at your shows, with the shelf and the images?
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea with the shelf as well. And there are, I guess, little mementos from their childhood as well, or things that
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't tell, Julie, but the mementos, did you paint them black or something?
They are gray.
Great. Okay.
Yeah. It's just to strip the color away so you focus more on the object instead of the color, because when it comes to gender, typically you think pink girl, boy blue. So trying to eliminate that idea, because kids will just play with whatever they want. Doesn't matter what color it is. We just, tend to buy pink things for girls.
But now that you bring that up,
it goes well with the black and white images as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now that you bring up the pink blue, I noticed your logo is blue pink.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if that's like,
Okay, cool.
you thought about that because of the show, or like it just, that's cool.
They just happen to be some of my favorite colors.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. And then I'll show you some of my portraits too, if it will load. There we go. So most of these were taken in college. I studied photojournalism, so studio photography was not necessarily my strong suit, but I did give it a shot, and some of them turned out pretty okay. As you can see, a lot of these folks too are gender bent and expressing gender identities that may not match what they were born as. So yeah, there's a running theme with my work.
Well, it's pretty current.
All right, well, that's pretty much all I got, other than the stuff I have on Instagram. I have much more food stuff on my Instagram, but I'm not going to pull up Instagram. That's no fun. So.
Very good, Julie. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks.
Get back to the Brady Bunch screen here. You'll have to take a look at Annie O'Neill's portrait series.
Okay.
It's on the ASMP YouTube, or ASMP Pittsburgh YouTube channel. I believe I got it uploaded. And as yours will be hopefully tomorrow, Julie.
All right. That's nerve-wracking.
Julie, your work was great.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I just get so nervous in front of people, and I've never had an artist talk before because, I'm so young. So I really appreciate you guys being so patient with me and listening to what I have to say and sharing your stories from Century 3. So it was a good time.
Cool. And then now I'm looking at the Brady Bunch screen here. How many of these people are yours again now?
Mr. Doug Heumann. He is the photographer I worked for at Ulta Beauty.
Hi, guys.
Very cool. Very cool.
Hi, Doug.
Nice to meet you. Sorry I came in a little late, but I'm glad to be here. Julie, your stuff's great.
Oh, thanks, Doug. Miss Cindy Fitzgerald is also one of mine. She is my husband's aunt and very good friend of mine.
Cool. Now, Doug, were you one of the photographers shooting in your basement?
That's a yes.
Okay. You might have missed that part of the conversation earlier. Oh, you're wearing the P on the cap. It doesn't look Pittsburgh.
You know, everyone
got
asks
with
me
that
to pee on
too.
the cap. It's my COVID. It's my COVID cover because my hair is the longest it's been in 20 years.
Oh, I just buzzed what little bit I had this morning.
Same here, Arch. Homemade haircut. It looks really bad.
Well, tell you what, I'm gonna stop the recording. I'll do all the editing tomorrow,